soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah, he's definitely not going to make it.
Trope alert. Trope alert.
Trope alert. Trope.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Antisocial Horror Club. On the Silver Site, the only place to be, we're going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that just came out on Netflix on 2022. Spoiler alert is in effect. Don't forget, if you do like this video, share, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre again, but we're going to get right into it. So this is a direct sequel from the original Leatherface movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that I believe came out in 1974. If you do remember that movie, it revolved about 5 friends who were on kind of a road trip, and then they run into a hitchhiker, which then leads them into the crazy Hoyt family where Leatherface is residing. Now, when they do get to this house, they find out that this family is full of cannibals. They pretty much all have to try to survive throughout the whole day. And it's a very graphic movie. And during that time, it was very groundbreaking for the type of content in. Because prior to that, some of the slasher films that we did have was like Psycho from Alfred Hitchcock, which was like in black and white. You didn't see a lot of, gore or even the type of events that was going on in those films. So when Leatherface did come out, it was pretty controversial. It was one of those movies that, critics and people saw. They, some people hated it. And then, of course, the horror fans loved it. So over all the years, there was a number of Leatherface sequels produced, remakes done, with one of the ones, the most notable one, being in 2017. So that one was just titled Leatherface. And with that one, that studio planned to release 5 films. And they took too long, and they lost the rights. And then when the new studio did get the rights, they did want to take a Halloween Kills approach. So I know that's going to be a very big topic of discussion. Even when I get into the social media space, I'm seeing a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, this is just like Halloween Kills. And it's what they wanted to do because it was a direct sequel, which it's not kind of a bad thing when you do get to take that original character. She did not take up much of the main story either. She just kind of served as a kind of like a little side plot. So it was a really good callback. But then I think we're going to get into some of our favorite things, which is definitely some of these scenes. But let's get off right into the new movie with the Leatherface or the Texas Chainsaw. So here it goes. They traveled to the abandoned Texas town of Harlow to auction off old properties to create a trendy, heavily gentrified area. And that's,
like I said, they didn't need to be there.
Didn't need to be there. And the group still discovered that it was occupied by an elderly woman named Guinea. And this is where we really get into the nitty gritty of this movie. So basically, once these 5 friends do get to this town, they're checking out all the places. They go into one in the house where they find this old lady named Guinea. And Guinea is actually the raiser of Leatherface. She's been taking care of him. She said it's her last boy. And you kind of get a glimpse of him, kind of what we see in the banner of our video. That's kind of what you see him at the top of the steps. And you just know he's this big looming figure. He looks really powerful. So with the new kids coming in, trying to clear out the town, they pretty much tell Guinea she got to go. She got to grab all her stuff. She got to get out ASAP, no time, whatever. Guinea has a heart attack, and this is what sets Leatherface off. Now, once she has a heart attack, they load her up into the ambulance. And then once they load her up into the ambulance, she pretty much kind of croaks. Leatherface is back there with her. There's 2 cops back there. And then one of the friends that ended up coming with the Leatherface and stuff, just kind of check on her, try to be a good Samaritan, which didn't work out. So let's get into kind of the early parts of the movie. What were your thoughts and feelings at the beginning part of the movie as far as like the friends going into the town, what they were trying to do, and then how things played out to where Guinea was having a heart attack on the road?
I mean, excuse me. I feel I like the setup. I don't really care for the reason as to why they were there, which kind of made me feel like Leatherface was low-key the hero of this movie. Fight gentrification and all that. He may be a good guy. I don't know.
Anti-hero?
He's the anti-hero of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this particular movie, I did not disagree with what he was doing. Methods, yeah, but I get it. Fight gentrification at all costs. But
Yo, it's so funny that you say that because as I was watching the movie, I was kind of getting the same vibes. I'm like, man, this old lady's been here. Like, let her slide. Like, if y'all want to do everything else, like, let this one slide.
Yeah,
like, this is not.
It just made me really feel bad for her, and it's like I get why he spazzed. I get why he did what he did because or why. You hear the thing about someone that you see as your mom and she dies of a heart attack because these strangers come in and try to kick you out of your home. I'd be on a rampage as well. And so I'm down with what Leatherface did. I felt bad for how some people died, but at the same time, I also didn't feel bad because y'all had it coming. Y'all really should have left things alone. So let's take it to when after they left the house and they were in the ambulance and she dies. And Leatherface just goes wild, man. Like the wrist break and stabbing the man with his wrist bone. I think one of the few things I liked about this movie, because in my opinion, this did nothing for anybody, this movie. The kills were probably the most interesting thing in this movie. The bus kill was probably my second favorite kill.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty crazy sequence. Now, kind of getting into like my early thoughts and feelings. And, it's so funny because they pretty much don't breathe to us, where they now took the villain and we almost kind of got on their side for a second. I'm gonna tell you where they lost me, not the movie, but Leatherface, because with the girl, the friends that ended up coming and trying to help the one with the police and stuff, I was like, oh, she's trying to be a good Samaritan. And as soon as I started seeing her about to get off, I'm like, dang, I'm like, all right, maybe he is evil. But but yeah, I agree. The kills were definitely what saved the movie. Now, if you went into this film just kind of expecting maybe Netflix horror, a B horror film, which I think initially it was hard to do because if we know the Leatherface, like the original one that was like dark and gritty, even though the kills were really dark and graphic in this one, the tone was kind of like light throughout the movie. The movie didn't really take itself serious, so it is a fun movie to watch. In some regards, it was kind of like that B slasher film or the type of films that I would expect to find at the video store in the back where, I pop it in and, it was kind of a fun ride. So I didn't think
I agree with you on that. It wasn't anything that was definitely going to change the franchise as a whole.
Yeah.
One major thing did happen. We'll get to that later that, kind of, I guess, would change the franchise if they were to continue. But I think that this movie was more so if you want to just watch people get killed, that's kind of
so
anything groundbreaking.
Yeah, and what we were saying before, this really did play off the same type of formula that Halloween Kills did. I think even with Halloween Kills and this movie, the two things that we can find similarities, like the story wasn't all that great. The story probably could have still been the same type of plot, but maybe executed better or done differently. But the kills, the action scenes, and Halloween Kills and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're so fast paced. There's really not any type of breaks, throughout this whole thing, and it was really enjoyable. Like I said, the kills, I was so happy. Yep,
it was a quick movie. I think that was a movie saving grace where I didn't absolutely hate it because they didn't drag it out and kind of make it go on for like 2 hours. I think the runtime was like an hour and something, hour and 30.
Yeah, I think it was like
it's including credits. So it was a good ride.
I swore it was like an hour and 23 minutes, and it did really, kind of breeze by, and that was kind of a good thing because where the story didn't, wasn't a 10 out of 10, it didn't feel like you were being dragged along. It had enough kill scenes and kind of action scenes that like you needed to pay attention. If you look down for a second, you might have had to rewind back, and that was actually with one of the characters that I had seen with the guy when he got his face cut. Yeah. So, and let's rewind a little bit. So after, all this happened.
That guy that died very quickly as I knew he was going. As soon as I saw him, I was like, he's definitely not going to make it.
Trope alert. Trope alert.
Trope alert. Trope alert. Yeah, we need to get a siren. When we things where a trope goes and we can just like trope alert, trope alert.
Edit this in.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. So
he didn't survive long,
No.
But So, you know,
kill, man. I'll give it to him. Good kill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the friend that left with the cops that ended up pretty much, you know, ending up the same type of fate that the cops did. She's on the radio and she's basically radioing back to her friends like, hey, this person is going ballistic, killing everybody, whatever. So the friends do kind of got a heads up and they do run into where they're going to end up seeing Leatherface coming back to the town and all that jazz. So one of the sisters and the guy, I don't want to butcher his name. I did not know this was Jacob Lattimore. I thought it looked like Jacob Lattimore the whole time. And I was like, that's not Jacob Lattimore doing a horror film. It's Jacob Lattimore doing a horror film. So he plays Dante. And now Dante is one of the main people that has this plan that they were going to auction off the town. He's in there with, I believe it's Melody, even if it's not Melody, her sister. But they're in the house and, you know, there's death. This is very kind of a callback to that where Dante gets his face slashed. He's laying on the ground and it leads up to a pretty cool scene as far as an effect standpoint where his jaw was kind of ripped like Joker style.
Yeah, I like the jaw rip. I thought that was very brutal. I think it added to the brutality of it. I feel like a basic throat slice or whatever, or it wouldn't cut it. I feel like the fact that they let us see that, that kind of really enhanced like just the gore of this movie. I think that was the saving grace. It was the gore in this movie. I loved it.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of exactly what you said. They gave us what we wanted to see as far as like in the kill scenes, because you know, with so many other films that I feel like that kind of waters down some of these horror films is you'll know someone's, you know, unfortunately getting off somewhere in the back, but you don't get to see it. You know, if you do get to see it, it doesn't look good or whatever. This movie was not shy about the effects. They're like, no, you're going to see this guy's teeth, you're going to see this person's face off. And it was really beautiful. Like I said, it exceeded my expectations for a Netflix film and the type of effects they got. And it just really raises the bar for some of these other heavily franchised films, or, you know, that have the production cost that can't do it the same way as far as like the scenes go in this movie. And if you've seen the preview, we're going to get into the next scene. I know everyone has seen the bus scene. You know, that wasn't a surprise in this movie. And they definitely racked up Leatherface kill count going into that bus. Red or RJ, I definitely want to know your opinion on the bus sequence.
First of all,
what you've seen in there and what was your favorite kill in the bus sequence?
Okay, so they jumped Michael Myers, right?
No.
They jumped him. No. Okay? They jumped him. And a mortal being with supernatural powers.
Worked him too.
Yeah, they do. They did. They was winning at one point. Yeah. All your motherfuckers on a bus. And nobody,
bro.
Like so everybody's natural instincts was to, and this is what I'm saying, like, I know humans don't have any natural survival instincts, but animals will protect their neck and their torso because those are the sensitive areas. Everybody's instincts on that bus were to be like, no.
No, it was like a roller coaster. People just putting their hands up and like, yo, especially so there's not a shortage of kills. And kind of give y'all the idea, if you haven't seen it, there's like 30 people in the bus, you know, all kind of lined up, and they all just kind of like, you know, Leatherface there, and they're like, hey, I'm gonna cancel you, man, and live streaming Leatherface with his chainsaw as it is kind of getting ripped apart. And you know, one of my favorite ones in here. Well, actually, let me say this, because I don't think we had talked about it. He was like, oh, someone gets it worse than this other person. Which one did you feel like was the worst?
On the bus?
Yes.
I'll say, let me think, because those kills were brutal on the bus. What was her name?
Are you talking about
the girl that got cut in half?
Jessica Allen is a real name, which is Dante's girlfriend. I did not know that was Dante's girlfriend. I thought Dante, I guess I should have seen that coming.
You know what's crazy? Like, I don't pay attention to character names in horror movies sometimes because I know they're all gonna die.
Yeah, I don't want to get emotionally attached to them anymore. So you know, because that's the worst. You see your favorite character.
I never remember it.
Yeah. So
probably the girl that got cut in half, she made me mad too, because you managed to get around him, which I don't understand why everybody just crowded to one side. I was banging on the window at that to try to get out, like, just help. When no one tried to get around him, but she managed to get around him, and rather than just making the beeline for the actual door, you stop, open a window, and then like, oh, let me just crawl through the window. Like, it's almost like she said, excuse me, let me just get past you, get on the window, like, just 1 minute. And but that was probably like the most brutal kill to me because I feel like she probably thought in her brilliant mind, she probably thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it out of this, just jump out this window.
Like
And
I
then,
made it.
yeah, and she gets cut in half.
It's working. Yo,
Yeah.
it's funny. Side note, in IMDb, her character's name is Dante's girlfriend. I feel like they could have put a little egg. They could have gave her a name.
Out of here.
They could have gave her a name, like Dante's like, because she, and one thing that you'll see if you are in the social media horror space.
Wait, her name was Catherine.
I only can tell you what our IMDb or at least Google is saying for cast.
Okay, because I just pulled the top cast down or whatever, and I
does that say Catherine?
Finally, it says Catherine now, but they probably didn't bother to learn what her name is because she only had like 4 lines.
She did, but in the horror community right now, there is some like steam. People want to see her as a final girl, and
yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, she does have like this kind of appealing sense to her that it's like, I like you, like I want to see you win, and you went way out early.
I thought she was gonna do more than what she did, honestly, because like you said, she's had a vibe to her, like, oh, okay, I can see her running and trying to fight for survival, but that didn't happen. She just died.
And you did say her name's Catherine in the movie?
Yeah, Catherine, yeah.
We're putting respect on Catherine's name. Catherine is, like I said, when you watch this movie, you're just going to know she stands out, but in a great way, even though she has very, very little to do with the movie. So the bus scene, it definitely kind of sets the tone of where we're going now. You already done seen all these crazy scenes and stuff. Now, one of the kills I do want to get into is Richard, which was, I believe, kind of like the mechanic guy. You'll see him throughout the movie. He goes in where Melody's sister is actually hiding under the bed, I believe, still at this point. Richard starts to try to fight Leatherface, which he ends up getting his leg broke, and a scene that was just like, you might cover up your face a little bit. They really bent his leg in, and then it wasn't too much after that. He was working Leatherface. Like, that's the crazy thing too. Those 30 people on the bus couldn't. Richard had those hands. Richard ran up on Leatherface, and he was getting that work before his leg got snapped like a Slim Jim. So
when Melody was hiding under the bed, I don't know. There was a certain. I want to talk about her acting too. I feel like I was terrified for her. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I hope she don't got a fart or nothing, or like hope her stomach don't growl. Because imagine being under the bed trying to hide, and your stomach goes. Like I was OD nervous for her, man. I didn't think she was gonna make it out the house. Honestly, I thought that was gonna be it for her.
Yeah. I didn't think she was going. When she jumped, or I think it may have been Melody when she jumped off the steps or whatever. Trying to propel, and then she jumped and made that noise, and she looks up and she sees Leatherface, and then boom, get hit down the steps. Flies, goes into the crawl space, which this was an amazing scene, just kind of being in the crawl space where just crawling. Leatherface has his chainsaw going through the crawl space from up top. She's having a duck and dodge, and
I thought I liked that too. I was just kind of I was kind of annoyed, like when he was going in a straight line, and she's also backing up in a straight line. Like you could just move to the left, like when a tree falls and someone's running, like no, and they're like looking back. It's like you literally could have just took one step to the right.
Yeah, and not to mention this crawl space, this kind of y'all visual, it was wide. Like she could have. Went wherever. And now I know this gets to your favorite scene. So as he's going in this straight B line, cuts into a septic tank pipe, which then all this chocolate rain starts flowing on her, and she just she stays there for like 10 seconds. Why it's just like
I'm like, you couldn't just move like this. The second a little bit would have hit my head, I would have been like, she just like stood there and like got like Nickelodeon slime, the Kids' Choice Awards. She just stood there like she was getting slimed. Like, what are you doing?
Said the magic word and
then figure it out.
Figure it out style. But and once again, y'all, this movie is really about the kills. Like you literally could have a whole discussion, and if you only go in this movie focusing like on the kills, like you just want to have a good time, you don't want to have to pay attention much to the story, you just want to see a whole bunch of like action and kills or whatever. This is definitely the movie to go to. That doesn't disappoint. And me and you, we talked about this. We know, and I love Netflix. There's so many other things that I love on Netflix to watch, and I'm not going to give up my Netflix subscription. But in the past, I couldn't go to Netflix for horror. But with Fear Street, with the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, my expectations for the next original, and I'm not going to say original because those are based off of kind of like other IPs, but for the next horror film that is coming straight to Netflix, I'm gonna have high expectations going into this. Maybe not so much with the story, but just from a the kills and the scenes and the settings and everything like that. Now I'm kind of like at a 7-8. Like Netflix, y'all got to keep bringing it.
Yeah. I agree. I think that Netflix definitely can step up definitely has stepped up their horror game from early on, because Netflix horror early on was just absolutely terrible.
Tubi,
it was just bad, really
better.
bad. Yeah, but I do think that this definitely, while this movie definitely isn't something that you go to for the plot or the story or the common sense of the characters, the kills, like you said, you can turn your brain off for a while and just watch some people get killed. This is definitely the movie for you. Even when you like, and back to just character decisions, when the woman from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, she finds out, they give her a call, and she's making her way back to I guess kill Leatherface. So she manages to locate him and shows up at his house, and then she's like, "Do you remember me?"
Yeah, that was so cringy to me. That was the Evil Dies Tonight type of vibe that from Halloween Kills that carried over into this movie. That was the one thing where, like, I'm not gonna lie, there was at times I was looking down like at my phone or like around, and then I heard that and I looked up and I was like,
like,
all right, like, you gotta go. I love you while you was here.
He just walked around like, anyway. Like, you had a clear shot. And then, mind you, you had from the time he left to walked around you like you was nothing, to the time he walked downstairs and walked all the way back into town. And you just, like, you wait till he gets to the car full of the girls to try to shoot him. I don't know. It just, the whole thing was just, crazy to me. But I liked her kill the best. That was my favorite kill, was hers. When he had her on top of the chainsaw and flung her ass, into the trash can.
Oh my God.
Trash.
Yeah, and wasn't she still alive for a second too?
Yeah, which I don't see how. I that's one thing I was like, okay, how is she even holding on right now?
Look, after what 50-something years of waiting, look, you gonna max it out at that point. You gotta see it through, my boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and pretty much this is the climax, y'all, where you have Melody and her sister, you have the original character from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie kind of confront him in the town, where now everybody is pretty much dead. Leatherface ran through the whole town, and everybody that was in there and everybody that came with the bus. So at this scene now, after the main character dies, Leatherface has a confrontation with the two sisters where he ends up getting slashed with his own chainsaw right up his neck, falling into like this crawl space full of water or whatever, real nasty looking water. At this point, the two sisters, they get in the car, they put on the little GPS, automatic Tesla looking car or whatever. I don't know which one. Yeah, like that's where the budget went. The kills in that car is where the budget went. But they get in the car, they're setting it, and this to me was, I would probably say, my favorite part. I'm so happy that there was an ending that, like, I didn't go like, oh, like whatever and stuff. Because normally in these movies, what we see the ending is like these people get away, and then the killer is like, hand out the water, hand out the ground, whatever. And then now we can kind of know. In this situation, jump scare, Leatherface snatches her out the car, out of nowhere, after you already kind of think he's dead. They're about to get away. Snatches her out the car, holding her almost kind of like by the back of the neck or hair or whatever and stuff. And why the sister is going out the sunroof, looking at her sister screaming and stuff, and really can't do nothing because this automatic car is, pretty much driving. Leatherface just, offs her head and, just kind of holds it up and starts doing the classic, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, spinning with the chainsaw on this, her sister's head. And it was just kind of like to me, one of the darker moments of like, you just watch your sister die in a really graphic way after you thought you couldn't go through any much. So for you, with that type of ending, where were you at with this movie when that happened?
I didn't like the ending because I thought the Tesla thing was corny. I felt like if y'all had the automatic GP, like, my thing is, okay, you get in the Tesla, it's a self-driving car, you must have the keys because it wouldn't start otherwise. Why not just drive the damn car out of there as fast as you can? It didn't make sense for them, like, boop, 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 boop. Like, y'all just chilling, like mad people didn't just die a couple of hours ago.
Trope alert.
Yeah, trope alert, stupid character alert. And I don't know, it was whack to me. I feel like I would have wished they would have gotten away. I would have wished somehow maybe they could have adjusted the kill from the woman they flung into the trash can. The first final girl, they would have, maybe like let her be able to kind of survive until the morning. And then you see Leatherface trying to, go towards a Tesla, and maybe she shoots him a couple times, gets up, try to fight him, and then maybe he cuts her head off at the end as the two girls are driving away and swings it in the air. I just thought the Tesla kill was corny, and I feel like it really wasn't earned. I feel like they earned their getaway, and I feel like it was kind of like snatched away from them. I don't know. I thought it was corny. Maybe if it wasn't a Tesla, maybe if they were trying to like start a Jeep or something like that.
Honda.
Yeah, a Honda or something like that. I would have been like, all right, but it just was weird that they got in a Tesla, and then you put it in self-driving mode. If you have the keys, why not just drive?
Yeah, it's so funny when we do say trope alert. Like, it's so crazy that like after a lot of these horror movies that the main characters, they end up surviving, they go through all this adversity, and then like they finally get to the point like, yeah, I can't wait till Monday. Monday is like right here. Like, let's live a normal life. Like, no, you don't watch like 50 people die. Like, I need therapy. Like, I'm calling out of work the whole week. Like, I'm stepping on the gas. I'm like probably an emotional wreck.
I need them to be as like emotional as that woman was when she escaped the descent. Like you need to be traumatized. And they were just in the car like, whoo, chilling. Like, like, come on.
Yeah, nah, like you just didn't see your best friends of your whole life just like die,
It
like,
was weird.
But overall, 1 out of 10, I give the movie like a 5.7 or kind of like a C-, where it wasn't groundbreaking. It wasn't going to change the franchise, that you said, RJ. But from just the standpoint of like, I like 80s movie, I like the horror movies, slasher movies. I didn't feel like I wasted my time with this movie. I do feel like I could rewatch it. I could put it on in the background and look up and be like, oh, I remember that scene. It was pretty good. Like I said, I think it's a good step in the right direction for Netflix horror. I think this is definitely going to open the opportunities for more horror films on Netflix that can be produced and pretty much passed out. So I really enjoyed it in that fact. If you're not looking for the next, Oscar-nominated horror film and you just want to go in for some cheap thrills and scares that have some high-quality kills, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is going to be that movie that will satisfy your horror craving until that next horror movie comes out from a kill standpoint. What's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, it definitely isn't anything that's you're going to be talking about next year. Honestly, it's definitely a forgettable movie. Like you said, I do agree with you. I feel like the kills are definitely something to watch, but I also feel like this is the kind of movie where you can just like fast forward to the kills and just kind of, because it's not a plot-driven movie. Nothing that happens has any kind of effect on, whatever they decide to do with the franchise moving forward, except somebody won't be in it, obviously. But other than that, I do have to give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. I have to give it a solid 5. Not exactly a waste of time because the movie is really, really short, as we talked about the runtime earlier. It's just one of those movies where turn your brain off and just enjoy it. Now, Halloween Kills, I say, did it a little better because I feel like the characters were a little bit smarter in some aspects, but in this aspect, no one is meant to survive. No one is meant to make good decisions. It's literally about how can they be killed. And like I said, if you enjoy that aspect of horror, you'll enjoy the movie. But other than that, it's definitely something that you don't have to rush to watch.
One last question. Do you ever see this movie being a cult classic in 30, 40 years? Do you ever think people will go back and say, like, I really enjoyed this? So no.
I think this movie, I feel like the movie review community and I feel like the horror community got it right the first time on this. This isn't like a Krampus where some people didn't like it at first, and they go back and watch it and okay, this is funny, blah 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 blah. I know you don't you don't rock with Krampus like how I rock with Krampus, but like this isn't something to where like time is gonna change my or I feel like anybody else's opinion. I feel like this is definitely the forgettable movie. One of the forgettable movies of the franchise. It's not going to stand the test of time.
Gotcha. So, hey, there we have it.
Cool. So those are our thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is now streaming on Netflix platform. If you like this video, make sure you like it. Share this video with your friends. Make sure you tap that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell, so you can be updated on all the latest and greatest things that we have going on over here at the Silver Sight Network. With that being said, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Later days.
See ya.